ask is, are women from foreign countries better wives than the ones we currently have? Let's not limit it to Great Britain, in the West in general.
Yep, interesting question. I just got to say first that this falls under the fair use clause of the Copyright Act, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, due to education and entertainment for my subscribers. And this is a video from Just Pearly Things, which is a fairly entertaining channel. She interviews young men and women regarding feminism and the relationships and whatnot. And this is an interesting question that this young man has posed to the interviewees. So let's hear what they've got to say.
Are women better wives? Let's go for a guy. Banksy, what do you say?
Well, I've been recommending this for a long time, that men in the West, due to a myriad of reasons, should start looking elsewhere. I spoke to a gentleman in Australia about 4 years ago in regards to him. He was a pilot. He had all his house, everything paid, fully stacked. The man was rich, handsome, and generally, in that top, what you guys call the 10, 20%. Mm-hmm. And he categorically told me that when he is ready to get married, he is going to get married to a lady or a wife where he's going to find them either in Vietnam, Cambodia, Philippines, and a country like that. He's in Australia himself, very wealthy in Australia, but he will not bring his wife to Australia. He will marry her and he will stay with her and build a life in that country, because he knows that if he brings her to Australia, ultimately the feminists in Australia will corrupt her. And thus, she'll be looking for the exit door within a few years, possibly a visa situation. So in order to counteract any of that, he will marry in his 50s, but he will keep her in that country where the laws are much more favorable in divorce courts to the men.
Wow.
Yep, so it sounds like this pilot guy knows a thing or two about what he's talking about. So there's two aspects to that. First of all, he's quite right that taking any Eastern or Southeast Asian woman back to Australia is fraught with just exactly that danger, that she's going to make friends with the Australian women, and they will corrupt her views on the world. For whatever reason. Sometimes it's just pure spite, but there's always that danger with taking a Eastern woman back into a Western culture. Now, the other aspect to it is that a lot of the time the Eastern women don't want to go back. They don't want to leave their families, especially if they're having children, because first of all, it's an important aspect of a Eastern woman's life is to have children, and her family, usually she's living with an extended family. They take care of their parents in the household. They all live in close proximity, shall we say, often in the same house, but more than likely within a walking distance, at least, of each other. And the children get brought up with the grandparents, have been a major part of their life. So there's two aspects there. The one is the woman needs to have friends in the West, and the friends are not going to be good for her. And two, most of the time they don't want to go back. They don't want to leave their families. They don't want to move out of the country most of the time.
Ooh, ladies, what do you think about
that? So do you feel that he's marrying her? Do you think she's going to actually be marrying him because she loves him and desires him? or that she just truly wants to get out of the country or the poverty that she may be living in to get to Australia or to wherever you were saying that he's from. He's really wealthy. So he's then going to keep her in a little box in the country that she's trying to maybe get away from, just so that so he can control that situation.
Yeah. So this is the go-to scenario for all Western women. It's just about power and control. He's going to keep her in a little box, and she's only marrying him for money and so that she can escape poverty. It's just delusional. First of all, I can speak for Thailand. Okay, Thailand has a culture that is hundreds, if not thousands, of years old. Angkor Wat, which is over that way, about 45 minutes away from me, is a World Heritage listed landmark that used to be the capital of an ancient culture that is now Cambodia and Thailand and Myanmar. So it's been split up into 3 different countries. A little story here, just while I'm in the mood. So in 700 and something AD, the Emperor of China sent a diplomat, what we'd call a diplomat now, to Angkor Wat, which was the capital of this major civilization, to instigate a trading with this with Angkor Wat. I'll call it Angkor Wat. Now there was the diplomat sent back a report from Angkor Wat, which listed all the goods that could be traded, and the commodities, so to speak, so rice and gold and other precious metals and jewels and what have you. And he also wrote about the culture that he was experiencing, and he said that the Angkor Wat women, so this Cambodian and Thai and Myanmar women, have a very strong libido, and so strong that they will want to have sex 3 weeks after giving birth. They will want to have sex again. So this is seldom talked about aspect of Thai women. When you marry a Thai woman, it's not about performance or anything like that, but she will want to have sex on a daily basis, basically. My wife said to me this morning, "Look, I'm getting my period. We won't have sex for 3 days. Do you want to have sex now?" That's how they think. That's their nature. Right? So a little bit personal there, but it's not just about the money for Eastern women. All right, it's about taking care of their husbands, and I can speak about the Thai culture here. So my wife honours me as a husband and as a man, right? And I do the same for her. She is a wife and a woman, and it's about, the marriage isn't just about love, right? It's about duty and honour and respect. And all of it's so much more than what this woman's go-to thing is, which is, she's just in poverty and she's only marrying for money, which is rich coming from the Western women who just have a laundry list of hoops that the man has to jump through, and one of them is always six-figure income. Right? So they won't look at a man unless he's got money. So, the Western women are broken. It's as simple as that.
No, to me, that's not marriage.
Do British women marry more for love, you think?
I mean, I feel that women automatically marry from a place of feeling rather than logic. Most. Obviously, there's the difference between logic and emotion, and there are women that are more pragmatic. But I think generally women do go
I think women
into
marry
it.
because of I think women marry out of opportunity, not out of love.
Well, so my question is, if so, why is the average marriage 7 to 8 years, and why is the number one reason they leave financial if women in the West marry because of love?
Well, because men are meant to be the provider. If we're going back to what everyone says is the idea.
And we're meant to be virgins.
It's true.
So there you go. There's the typical Western woman. Her response, because men are supposed to be. Because men. Just blame the men. Women are always the victim. Men are always the perpetrator. That's exactly what she is saying here. Pearl hit a nerve there, saying, the marriages only last around about 7 years, and the number one reason for leaving is financial. So she, called her out on it, and now let's hear where she goes from there.
But at the same time, if we're talking about the polarities of the masculine and the feminine energy, if you want your wife or your partner to be in her feminine energy, when I say provider, she could still be working, she could still be doing her thing, but in his energy being the provider, so looking after
So then what's
her,
the female energy supposed to be?
in her feminine, obviously.
Doing
So
what,
that
though?
doesn't mean
Looking after the
virginity,
house.
but I mean...
It does. It means purity. That's what
No,
men
it doesn't.
value.
If you look at the polarities of feminine and masculine energy, within every single person in this room, there is feminine and masculine energy. That doesn't say purity. You're not any less feminine because you're not a virgin. Are you a virgin? People wouldn't say that you're not
but if you-
feminine.
I
because
would say I am less feminine than I was. Like, I was more feminine when I was a virgin.
I definitely wasn't.
Because every heartbreak makes you a little bit more bitter.
All right, so masculine and feminine energy. How do you measure this energy? Is it milliamps? Is it kilowatts? Is it Newton meters? How do you measure masculine and feminine energy? And if you can't measure it, it doesn't exist. So this is just word salad from this woman. If he's in his masculine energy, she can be in her feminine energy, blah, 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 blah. It's bullshit. Absolute bullshit. And she should be called out for it. But they're buying into this idea that there's somehow masculine and feminine energy. It's rubbish.
Oh, I don't think so.
And then just being honest, every heartbreak comes with some trauma.
Well, it does, but at the same time,
the more penises you have inside you, the more masculine you come.
Yeah, so I would say when I was a virgin, like I was like very
100%, but it doesn't negate from the fact that you are still able, if you do the work, to step into your feminine energy if you're with the counterpart that is in his masculine energy.
I just think.
Well, citation, please. That is just an absolute rubbish assertion. You can step into your feminine energy if he's in his masculine energy. What an absolute load of rubbish. Right? It is bullshit. And yet, this is, 9 times out of 10, this is what women will say, and they believe it. And it's down to this myth that women can do anything. They can be masculine and they can be feminine. Well, show me the studies, because you don't see this in the East. Right, in the East, the women are feminine. I've just put petrol in my motorbike just a little bit over an hour ago now. Over here in Thailand, people pump the gas for you. You don't handle that sort of thing yourself. And the woman pumping the gas, was the most feminine woman you can imagine. She was just delightful. You know, a feminine woman pumping gas. Have a think about that from a Western perspective.
Women are either feminine or they're not.
No, I don't
to me,
believe that.
and to me, like you can learn to fake it, but like you'd be like, but you can always smell it. Like,
No,
that
if you do the true work on allowing yourself. When I had my son, that forced me into my feminine energy.
what is like because no offense, I just hear this like do the work, but then like there's no work.
There is when you you work out why you're in your masculine energy, because there is always a why to your actions.
So say I'm too masculine, and then so like I find out it's X reason. Then what? What do I do? What's the work?
Well, therapy, deep trauma work, shadow work. There's so many different things. Sound bath healing, Reiki healing. There's so many different types of work that you can do. Therapy to maybe get over your father wound, or your mother wound, which is usually where I need to be in my masculine energy in order to prove something, or even society.
These sound like buzz phrases.
Yeah, but this
they don't sound like real things. They sound like buzz phrases.
They are buzz phrases, mate. Retail therapy would be another one. Just go on a shopping spree, getting your nails done, getting your hair done, doing a makeup course. It's just about self-indulgence rather than self-reflection or self-discovery. It is there must be so many people prepared to buy into these delusions that these women have, and make money off it. Of course, there's a whole industries around it. But it reminds me of Douglas Adams and the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and it was the restaurant at the end of the universe where they come across prehistoric Earth there, and the hairdressers and nail technicians and all that have crash landed on the planet and are colonising early Earth at the expense of the Neanderthals, and the captain's sitting in his bathtub. I mean, it's just like it is such a delusional way of living. It's just and she believes it. You got to do the work to become feminine. Really? And what if I wanted to do the work to become feminine? Is that possible? It's rubbish. It is delusional bullshit.
I think sometimes women can be quite masculine because they have not met a man that has allowed them to be in their feminine energy. So sometimes they feel like, they're not with the right man that is allowing them to take a step back and be in that feminine energy and to lead them.
So
but I think ultimately...
so do you think that femininity is conditional then?
Conditional?
Do you think that it depends on the condition?
Just like masculinity.
No, it's not, because
I've seen many bitches out here.
Let me tell you something. As a man, if I said... I'll be masculine for the right woman.
No.
You're going to look at me and say, what? You're going to be like, what? You're going to be like, what? What do you mean I'll be masculine for the right woman? But you say you'll be feminine for the right man. And you think that makes sense.
Because
this guy is exactly right in what he's saying. But all of the women here, to me, are masculine, like Pearl included. They're all masculine. They behave like men, to me. There's no femininity whatsoever on that couch at all, right? But he's exactly right. I'll be masculine for the right woman. That's call them out. Just flip the script there and call them out. And that's how stupid they sound. Now, my contention is that you just can't talk to Western women about any of this stuff. And the Eastern women, there's no need to talk to Eastern women about any of this stuff because they're feminine and they know what masculinity is. You don't need to talk to them about it. And, as soon as you leave that Western culture and come to an Eastern culture, the masculinity is just who you are. It's just such a... liberating experience, to put it mildly. I will just add that the insinuation here is that it's men's fault that women are masculine. This is what she's saying. If the man can allow is masculine, so the woman can step into her femininity, she can step back, and it's the men that are making us masculine. No, it's not. We don't want masculine women.
He's meant to be the leader. As a leader, you're meant to lead. So if you're
and you're meant to be in your. If I'm meant to be in my masculine, you're meant to be in your feminine.
Yeah, but I think we have masculine and feminine energy, and I think if you're a woman and you're with a man that doesn't allow you to step into your femininity because he's not masculine enough, then your masculine side kind of comes out and compensates for that.
How come that doesn't work the other way around?
I disagree. I just think that's an excuse that women want to use as an excuse to be masculine. I just think that's an excuse. Like the most picture perfect feminine women I know, it doesn't matter who they're with. They're feminine regardless. I just think you're either feminine or you're not feminine.
What are you saying, bro?
Well, for starters, I agree with what Pearl just said. Yeah. But do you think it works both ways? So basically, if you're a slightly masculine female because you're not with the right guy that can bring out your femininity, do you think a man will get away with saying he's a slightly feminine man because he's not with the right woman?
Yeah, maybe a man can be with a woman that's maybe a little bit too masculine for him, and then it doesn't allow him that confidence to step into his masculinity. Do you know what I mean? So it is all about balance and finding the right person.
The question is...
Go
ahead.
Would you give a guy who's very much in his feminine energy a chance?
Nope.
Probably not, because I just feel like I want a man to lead. Yeah. And I am. So then
you're correct. So that's a bit of a contradiction, right?
Because I'm sure that females in their masculine energy would like a man to give them a chance.
I mean, just imagine this. Imagine if a guy just started being like, "Hey, girls!"
Hey, girls!
and because he's like, "I'm with some masculine females." Hello,
that's crazy.
That would sound nuts to you.
Crazy.
But we can no offense, spew this as nonsense to me. I just think you're either a feminine woman or you're not a feminine woman.
So that sounds nuts to me, right? The whole thing does. Pearl is quite right in what she's saying there, but you don't get masculine women, right? You get women who are playing a caricature of masculinity. Right? And Western women are trained to be like that. There's no other way to put it. They're trained from birth by their mothers. Right? Let's just step back a little bit here. I'm prepared to bet that none of these women on this couch have a strong father figure in their life. They'll have all been brought up by single mothers, and I think one of them is actually a single mother herself, the one who's talking about her son there, and so they don't know what femininity is, because they don't know what masculinity is. So this woman saying, the one in the middle there, that she needs the man to lead, so that she can find her femininity. Well, that's not what will happen, right? She'll get a man who wants to lead, and she'll fight him tooth and nail, because that's what she's bred to do. That's who she is. She's not going to be giving up her masculinity. And and of course they call it masculine energy, but they are brought up to be masculine, and that's all they know. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Whereas in the East, the way the women are brought up here, they are feminine. Just who they are. It's in them. It's innate.
But
I think sometimes
the thing is, this is something where most people who've done any kind of training, martial arts, anything else, they say you are your habits.
Yes.
You are what you train. If you train full contact, you punch full contact. If you train semi-contact, you throw semi-contact. You are your habits. It is incredibly difficult to live your life for most of it, or for decades as a masculine woman and then suddenly turn on the feminine in front of the right guy.
But you can train it, though. You can train you can work,
train it,
do the work.
but the thing is, by the time you meet that guy...
Can you not have therapists?
No, but who trains you? Does a man train you, or do you train yourself?
Well, it depends. Some relationships can bring out that side of you to do that deep work. Because a lot of the time, when you get into a relationship, the reflections and the trauma that is brought up, where then it forces you into that space of like, you know what? Actually, maybe I am not doing something in this relationship that's not allowing this man to do what he's meant to be doing. And so then it forces you to get that mirror and be like, you know what? I need to do the work on me.
What an absolute load of crap. Right? It's always blame the nearest man. And we've seen it from these women sitting on this couch today. It's a man's fault that we're masculine, you know. And the other point is, what man is going to fucking well put up with this lunatics, absolute idiots, for any length of time, or let alone long enough for them to do the work and fix themselves? Why should men put up with it? You know, why should we wait around for them to fix themselves? There are numerous women who are not masculine waiting to meet Western men in the East. There's millions of them. And they don't need to do the work. Right? It's all about me, and men are the problem. Men are the perpetrators. Poor little women. We just need to do the work on ourselves. And the thing is, they don't. This idea that they're going to be introspective, I haven't seen it yet. You know, it's ridiculous.
Sorry,
outside of therapy, what else? Because I just imagine, like, if you're going to change your whole temperament, like, there's a lot that's in it. So,
well, I mean, I'm sure it does take many years. Therapy is probably a main one.
So not outside of therapy.
Outside of therapy, a lot of stuff I can't say. I can't say. I wouldn't like to.
But then, do you think, like, this is the thing about like women that say this kind of stuff? Men here, we don't want masculine women.
No, we don't want to be masculine either.
But what I'm trying to say is, like, you say, oh, we've got to train ourselves to be feminine, right?
Reprogram.
Or reprogram yourself, or rejig yourself, whatever it is. Get yourself, download a new program.
Well, it's like
right?
going to the gym.
But men generally don't. They ain't got time for it. Like if it's, for instance, if we take you on a date, for instance, right, and we see that you're more masculine than you are feminine, we're already calculating like, this is going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem, and I haven't got time because I don't know you like that. We haven't got time to be trying to program you and trying to train you into being more feminine. Like, if we go on a date with you, we want a woman that we can see, she's kind of feminine. I kind of like this. Do you know what I mean? And then we'll pursue it. But masculine women, we don't want to train you, because if we say the word, because you use the word train,
no,
I didn't.
Yeah, but you said that you asked me a question whether a man can help you in that, and so I didn't say, because a lot of the work, the deep work that I've done on my own, not yes, relationships have presented these mirrors for me to have, which every relationship presents mirrors. It could be a relationship with your mum, your friends, can present these spaces of where you're like, okay, I've got to work on myself in this and understand sometimes you don't need to say this or you don't need to say that, or you can take a step back and understand that, yes, this man can lead me. So I'm not saying that it's a man's role or job to do that. That's a twist of words.
Do you think you need a man to co-sign it, though?
So
like if, you did this, not just you, but anyone that does like the deep work, the femininity training, like, would you say that there has to be a man that co-signs it? Because like women lie to each other.
Well, I think that when you get into a relationship, you'll then if you take time out maybe after a relationship, and then I think a relationship will let you know how successful your deep work has been, because you're not going to know how successful you're going to be in a relationship until you're in a relationship, right? So
the thing is,
I wouldn't say a man, because you could be a lesbian.
This is like beyond cap. And it's like the amount of cap here is like, or cope. I don't know.
Are you married?
I was engaged for a long time, but
Me too.
But the thing is, that's what I see here is like the women saying, "Oh, when I meet the right guy, I'll then turn on the femininity." Whilst actually, in the reality is, they don't actually even turn on the femininity. They just go, "You just can't handle a strong woman."
Yeah.
And then you, as a man, are berated and ridiculed because you can't handle this incredibly masculine energy of this woman that's coming at you all day long, because you don't want that. You want feminine, submissive,
and so
beautiful women.
And so that's, I think, part of the reason why men in the West are actually going abroad, whether it be Dominican Republic, Brazil, certain parts of Africa, Eastern Europe, Thailand, Philippines. That's why they're going there to kind of find wives, because what a lot of them are saying, and I've heard it a lot from men, that Western women are too much work.
Yep, Western women are too much work, that's for sure, right? And you can see it here from these women. They are saying, we expect men to show us our feminine energy, our feminine side, and until that point we're going to be masculine, and then we're going to have years and years of therapy to find our femininity. I mean, it is like the guy, like Banksy says, it's just cap. It's just a load of fucking bullshit. And why, as a man, do you want to put up with it? You don't have to. Get your passport and get over to the east. It's amazing. Anyway, have a good day.
As many of you know, I was just banned on TikTok, and we are demonetized on a daily basis on this platform. If you want to help, please consider sending a super thanks below. Every donation helps, and it helps make what we do possible.